Hi guys, Lovek here, and another review day has come upon us today with Wild Serengeti. I have to be honest with you, I was a bit skeptical when purchasing this game because I thought that it looks very simple and I was afraid that mentally I was just buying it for the components. Let's see if that was the case after this review. If you like the video, you can click the like button, ring the notification bell and hit the subscribe below to be notified about new videos on my channel and to support what I'm doing here. And now let's talk about the positive and negative things of Wild Serengeti in my personal subjective opinion. Okay, so I've already spoiled the first positive for you guys in the very beginning. Look at those components, look at those wooden animals. Man, we've got your giraffes and your leopards and your hyenas and your gazelles, rhinoceri and elephants, vultures, lions, zebras, alligators, what you want, everything is here, right? 3 of each, so more than Noah's Ark. In this case, and you've got a first player marker in the form of a big tree, and you've got the round marker in the form of this bird. I don't know if it's a toucan or whatever, but they're so cute, they're so great. Even for like smaller players, like younger players, those components will be definitely the biggest attraction of this game. The board also looks pretty cool with this Serengeti presented in very nice painted form. The board is two-sided, so you can play on one and the other. The layouts are different, so the game looks very attractive and great on the table. While we were playing, we noticed that the more the board gets crowded, the cooler it looks. It's really great, so that's definitely a big plus. Another plus is that the rules are very easy, and it's very easy to teach people how to play this game. It shouldn't take more than, I don't know, 10-15 minutes even for non-experienced players to figure out what's going on here if somebody is explaining it to them. The rulebook is quite thick for a game like this because, well, it has quite a few pages here but a lot of examples, a lot of explanations, so it's very user-friendly, so that's definitely a given. But still, once you learn the game, it's hard to forget the rules and the game flows pretty well, so that's also on the very plus side for Wild Serengeti. The mechanical aspect of the game, it revolves around placing animals on specific areas on the board and then moving them, manipulating them, switching them places so that you can reflect the order or the combination that you have on those cards that you collect throughout the game. And if you manage to create this combination on the card, then you collect the card and you get victory points. And this is the main theme of the game. You're a wildlife photographer or a videographer, and you want to record those wild animals in specific environments on the board, so at specific locations and in specific order, right, in specific groups. And the puzzle element here, which animal to put where and which one to move and switch places, and how many moves do I need to recreate this and that, and maybe I can combo 2 or 3 cards with one move or something like that, is very satisfying when you pull it off. So definitely it's going to be a thinker. You're going to to get into the game and try to overthink and overdo with the tactics, and to move. You can also take a sneak peek at what your neighbors need, because the cards that you have are common knowledge, so you can also block other people's movements if you want to, but that's not really necessary to win the game. So there is a lot of clever thinking involved, which is very satisfying, which was on the good side. With the length of the game being around one and a half hour for 4 players sitting at the table, then we were very satisfied with the amount of combinations and thinking and moving around and manipulating that we did. It was very satisfying. And this also ties into the solo play, because this game has a solo mode. It's 1 to 4 players, and the solo mode is a great puzzle in itself. I enjoyed playing the solo version of the game, figuring out what to do in order to achieve the final goal and to, you know, to move all the animals so that I can fulfill all the goals that I need, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm going to go back to playing it solo again, definitely. This is going to be one of the solo games that are hitting the table quite often. And if you like solo games that require you to play kind of against yourself, not against an automated opponent, then this is definitely something that you will enjoy. And one more very important plus, I think, is that akin to, I think, Wingspan and other similar games that have this kind of twist, Wild Serengeti is also educational, because at the bottom of every card you have some interesting fact, a very short one, but an interesting fact about an animal from the game. Like, for example, lionesses are the primary hunters of a pride, or the Serengeti is a host to a wide range of animals thanks to its diversity in plants. So you've got, you know, some of those facts are simpler, some of them can be pretty curious, but you've got so many cards here and each of them has a sentence, a line at the bottom. So you can always, if you read those, you can find out, even playing with your kids, with young players, they can always find out some information. So not only is the game fun, it can make you think, but it can also have an educational factor in it. So definitely a kudos to the designers for this when it comes to Wild Serengeti. Now I have to mention that I'm also playing with the add-on with the animal experts, and this is also something that's worth mentioning, that there is an add-on to this game that adds more cards, that adds more animal experts that have some more clever interactions that can be a bit more complex, and that's basically like kind of the game evolves thanks to this a bit more. It's not a 100% necessary add-on, but it's a cool thing to have if you want the most out of this game. Now let's go to the negative side, to the dark side of the story with Wild Serengeti for a moment. And then let's summarize everything I've told you and see whether, you know, this game is worth hanging onto on your shelf or not. Now, the first negative, I have to reach for it right now. I have no idea who, after Everdell, is still making those kind of things for games. Now, I know that it looks cool as a centerpiece. I know that it's attractive for a Kickstarter campaign to have a 3D element like this, but taking it out of the box and assembling it for every game is going to end in the same story as with the Everdell tree. I already have frayed corners on those cardboard elements here from putting it up and tearing it down again and again and again. Sure, you can use some glue or some, transparent varnish to secure those edges and so forth and so on, but this only holds the round tracker with some information about which round has more coins and something like that, and a place for 2 cards. Come on, you could have designed it into the player board, into the game board. This is not necessary, really, and is going to fall apart if you don't secure it, and if you don't use it properly, sooner or later it's going to look bad. So like with Everdell and with the tree, and remember that the guys from Everdell got rid of the tree with adding the new add-ons. You don't even need to use it anymore. I think that this is just an unnecessary addition to the game. Okay, so enough complaining about cardboard. Let's talk about some other things that might be negative for some people, and subjectively for me they are. There is a myriad of cards here from which you draw the market and your hand every single game, and akin to other set collection games, you've got one of the goals to collect some victory points is to have some sets of icons like leaves, or what else do you have over there? Yeah, like for example leaves here, or hearts, or flowers or something like that. And basically sometimes During the games, it turns out that if you have bad luck at drawing cards and the market isn't going your way, it's very difficult. If you're focused only on one or two types of victory point collection, it can be very hard for you to get into grabbing all those victory points. So you either have to diversify or you have to be a bit lucky. The luck factor because of this deck is quite high in my opinion, and you have to be very vigilant at grabbing cards from the market in order to get what you want. But then sometimes those cards that have the symbols that you need might not have the order or the grouping of animals that kind of synchronizes with all your other cards, so you have to change and adapt very often sometimes, and sometimes in not the most convenient or comfortable way for you, because you're forced to do that if you want to score points. So that's a bit finicky in some games, especially if you want to play it like a serious game for serious points, like, you know, like for more advanced heavy players. That can be pretty noticeable sometimes. Also, there are a few cards in this deck, a few, I think, like with the add-on you have 8 of them, which can score you a lot of points. They have a diamond symbol on them, and it's, you know, it can be very easy for one player, if they are lucky, to collect a lot of them and score a lot of points because of those cards. It ties into the previous thing that I said about, you know, how finicky the deck can be when you are collecting those cards, trying to score them during the game. So I think that, like I said, some players who are like more advanced and more serious can have some qualms with it, but apart from that, it's definitely great fun. The last thing, I think that this is a good game as, let's say, a between low and medium kind of introductory game for people, because it's attractive to look at. The theme is very simple and very well connected. The rules are okay and not very complex to explain and everything. So it will definitely cater for this spectrum of the board gaming crowd. But if you're playing this in a crowd of advanced gamers, like, you know, who like heavyweight games, then Wild Serengeti is definitely going to be a bit too simple, maybe. There might be complaints about the cards and about the set collection being a bit finicky, like I said, but it can be a good filler game as well, if you want to take a breather from something more complicated. So basically, that's it. So just to sum up, just to reiterate, if you want a game that's a looker on the table, although it takes up some place because it's quite hefty when it comes to the table space. Great animal meeples, especially for the young players to enjoy. Know some facts about the Wild Serengeti and about, you know, those African animals and everything. Definitely a great puzzle game that will keep you occupied for quite some time. If you're looking for something more on the high end of difficulty, not maybe the best choice in this case. For solo players, if you like the puzzle aspect of not chasing an automated player for points or anything like that, but just figuring out where to go to achieve your goal and that's it, just like playing against yourself, definitely a good choice. And mind you that this cardboard centerpiece is going to fall apart soon if you don't secure it well, or if you just don't keep it somewhere on the shelf assembled all the time, so that you just don't have to take it apart and together all the time like I have to when I'm carrying the game around. So that's it. Definitely I will be keeping it on my shelf. I will be definitely returning to it to play it solo, because it's very enjoyable in my opinion. I like puzzles in general, jigsaws, stuff like that, so that's definitely right up my alley. And yeah, that's it. We've arrived at the end of this review, I think. My name was Lone Vic. This was Wild Serengeti. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, if you have any questions, you can do them in the comments. I'm trying to reply to all of them. And if you liked the video, if you found it helpful, if you want to support the channel, and if you like the content that I'm throwing in here, give me a like, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell to be notified about new videos on my channel. For now, this is all. Again, Wild Serengeti, Lone Vic. Thank you very much for watching. See you very soon. Have a nice day. Bye bye.